Hi everyone, welcome back to Job One for All. Continuing the utility classes, now we are going to talk about date. Let's create a new package. I'll insert package r date dot test, and let's create a class called Java class date test 01. So the history about dates in Java is pretty funny actually, because we have three ways to work with dates in Java. The first one is the date that we have from the beginning of time, considering Java version 1. The problem is when they created this date, they didn't take into account a lot of problems that may happen when we work across countries, across different time zones, and across different formats. And after that, they realize, okay, there is another thing that we have to do, that is work in a different class. And they tried to solve the problem through the class calendar. But even though the class calendar solved a lot of problems, it was still not enough. And then only after Java 8, they introduced a new package. So far we were working in the Java.2, a new package called java.time. And this package solved most of the problems. It was based in one famous library called java.time. And so far, until version 15, there are no signs that they're going to create a new package to solve that problem. Looks like everything's fine now. So we are going to talk about date, calendar, and then Java time, because you need to understand not every time you will work in new systems, and date and calendar are like everywhere through systems around the world. So let's start with date. Date, as we can see, we have different packages. The one that we will be working is the one inside the java.util, and you have to be careful because sometimes if you don't pay attention to the package you are importing, you may import from java.sql. And as the package name implies, this was created to work towards the SQL style of dates. So in the end, we will be working with date. And the date that we have here is like any object. We create a new date, getting the actual time like this. So this is enough for you to get the system's time. In my case, this is the time that I have now. And if I just call this inside a system out println, we will get exactly the same value. So if you are in a different time zone, in my case, I am in Amsterdam, this CET time zone, and my virtual machine is set to English. You can see here this result. But if you are in a different time zone in a different country, your result will be different. So the date that we can see here is only because we are calling to string, but actually the date that we have is not stored like this. The date class works with milliseconds. So basically, I think they do have the option here. It works with milliseconds from January 1st, 1970. I'm not sure what is it, but it counts milliseconds from January 1st, 1970. And you can send like milliseconds. For example, let me send here some milliseconds to get one specific time. This is a long. Since it's redundant to call to a string, I will just remove this one, and let's see what time is it for these milliseconds. September 9th, 2001. If you want to get the time that we have right now in milliseconds, you just have to call get time, and as you can see, it's going to return a long. Control Shift F10. So this is the long representing the current time in milliseconds. I just have to put it here, and you will see that we get exactly the same result if I remove get time. So the date class has most of its methods deprecated. So for example, if you call date dot, you can see some methods here. Most of these methods that are still available were introduced after Java 8. But if you scroll down, you will notice that we still have the old methods, but all of them are deprecated. So when you have this strike over the name, it means that this method was deprecated, and ideally you should not use it. And if you have it in your code, you should migrate to a better version. Usually they have in the same class, but in this case, they don't have another option in this class, so you should migrate to one of the Java time classes and methods available. So for example, if you still get date in your system, probably you will have to do a lot of conversions. We are going to see how to do those conversions, but they introduced a couple methods, for example, toInstant, that you will be able to migrate to one of the versions that we have since Java 1.8. So it was pretty painful to work with dates actually. So for example, if you wanted to set a time, let's say that I would like to add 1 hour to this, you have date.set and you have hours. But since everything is deprecated and you don't want to use, another option would be to get this set time, and you get date.getTime, and you can add, for example, 1 hour, and long would be 3,600,000. And then this will be 1844. So basically, what you have to know about date is this. Honestly, there are a lot of systems out there still using dates, legacy systems and sometimes new systems, because people don't know that they can work with newer versions. So it's very important for you to understand how to work with date, how to work with calendar, and how to work with Java time. So I think that's enough information. Let's continue in the next video talking about calendar. So see you there. Bye.